learning. They're also not learning. Where you're supposed to learn, you're not learning. Okay, so let's come back to what we were discussing. So yesterday we have discussed about methods of primitives. I've told like okay why we have got methods in primitives, and though we use heavily primitives, yeah, we don't use object types or reference types which are there in JavaScript. So since primitives can borrow methods from those object types, so we continue to use primitives. On top of that, we discussed methods related to number, be it math object has a lot of methods. Yeah, they call them as like static methods. I can directly call it on that constructor math dot. So apart from that, we learned methods like toString, how to invoke directly on the value. Then we discussed like conversion. Yeah, so how we can convert, what are the different ways to convert, we recalled. We also saw how to use toString with the different base values, right? So using that base value, it is possible to convert into a different number system, be it like decimal, binary, hexadecimal. We also saw examples of parse int, parse float, how we can actually use those methods for yeah converting. Yeah, they are different from the other methods like using number. So likewise, we discussed many things with respect to number. We also saw like okay why it is zero point 0.1 plus zero point 0.2 is equal to not equal to zero point 0.3. Then we moved on to like what is called string and different syntaxes with respect to string. Yeah. So apart from that, we also understood. Kushal, you're not seeing my screen.
Yes, sir. Screen is
Alright.
not presenting.
Okay. I didn't share. I was just talking by just keeping this page open. So I was saying. So we have discussed different types of string. String, we have got three ways to create strings. We saw there are a lot of methods which can actually be used for uh, what is it, so we can actually use for getting substring, string, slice. There are method like splice. More than that, we understood there is a method called index of, includes, contains. So there are many string methods, huh? So I think I didn't go in detail about talking all the string methods, but then we discussed like strings can be accessed using index, just like array. Yeah, starting with 0 we can access. It's also possible to get the last character of the string using at method. If you remember, I told you caret and char coded, these can be used to get the character as well as the ASCII code value of that. We discussed like okay how we can actually use split with the example delimiter actually. Yes, we also discussed that string conversion is possible. And yeah, so how do we convert other types into other types into uh, yeah a non-string, right? So so with this, I think mostly I've covered the string method, but that is not enough. Okay, you guys have to practice all these methods. You have to use these methods actually. So how do you get string MDN JavaScript? For sure, MDN has JavaScript only, no other strings. See, you see, I showed you yesterday also. There are lot of methods actually with respect to strings. Tomorrow, when somebody asks you a question, when I'm giving you assignments, or when you are working on some program, you have to come to this page to understand. Okay, what else methods are there? First day, you will not be knowing all this method. You will start using one by one. For example, I told you there is a trim. Okay, you will search. Okay, there is a method called trim. Okay, what this trim do? So okay, I have to Okay, this they have given example. Okay, there is a space, and after space, it is going to print without space. Okay, trim method. Yeah, when how do I call that? This variable name dot trim. Okay, so what is the explanation they have given? Syntax is directly just trim. Parameter none. Return values okay. Now, so for a given problem, you have to come to this page and then read the syntax, and then next time when you again visit this page, you will already have a knowledge of okay, yeah, I know trim method. Last time I've seen. Oh, okay. Last time when I was searching, I also found there is a method called uh, trim end. Okay, let me check what it is. This is how you will actually add on with your existing knowledge. Don't think that okay today you will have to buy at this. You might have did a buy at tan theta is equal to sin theta by cos theta. Correct? In many of the plus two, you have done this by at. Okay, just a second. Yes, I'll have to pick this call. There are sometimes yeah rare calls. Okay, so what I was telling. So how one will actually improve your knowledge. Today you may not be learning all the syntaxes, but then how? Then you will have to do like this. Whenever you get a question with respect to string, you have to come to this page. That's the best thing you are supposed to do. To start learning these string methods. Once you come to this page, start reading the syntax also. It's okay even if no you first guess okay which is a method which is very close to the given problem. You know why I'm saying this technique will work and this is a technique you all have to learn. Tomorrow JavaScript might improve. JavaScript might add another 10 methods because this is a very good documentation and almost like it is being updated yeah very frequently. You will also get to update okay yeah there are like some new methods they've added. How do you come to know this? Or there is something news which are added. We have to put it in the TV9 news, is it? Oh, JavaScript now is updated and it has got three new methods. Everybody start using. No, this is how the developer will actually get to know. And now today's world, everybody is like ChatGPT. ChatGPT also sometimes outdated. This we have to do for something which we don't know. But for something we know, my always recommendation, yeah, with my current experience, I'm telling you, you always should be ready to read the documentation. Though ChatGPT is there, that is only for quick help. Alright, so I'll not say anything beyond this. Okay, you guys are all matured enough, and I think you will be able to follow what I'm saying. So with this, we covered a primitive like number and string. So if you remember, there is one more primitive, which is we say boolean, but boolean as a primitive has got very less methods. So let's quickly see what methods we have on boolean, so that we kind of cover boolean, string, and number. Yeah. So we have already earlier in the discussion, like when we saw data types, we have seen okay how do we convert something into boolean. We have discussed what happens like a boolean. In boolean, we have understood mainly if you recall. So what are boolean false values? What are boolean true values? So can somebody tell me quickly what are the boolean true values? If you recall, you know that there are some good set of falsy values are there. What are those? It's not like good. Okay, there are set of falsy values. Which are those?
Zero, none,
Zero, none. Okay, what else? You got NaN, zero. Yeah. What else? Undefined.
yes.
What else? Empty space. Empty space is also false value. NaN is also false value. Undefined is a falsy value. 0 is a falsy value. Anything else? Yeah. Obviously, false is a falsy value. Huh? So, like this,
Yes,
we have
yes.
this set of falsy values, which means wherever we get these values, then it is considered as Boolean false, or the conversion becomes Boolean false. Rest all the other values is considered as true. And we know that to convert into a Boolean, we can use this particular method called Boolean. So this you pass whatever value, you see you can pass any value, it is going to convert that into a Boolean value. How? Just by this equation. These are all written as a falsy values, but rest other values are written as truthy values. Maybe let's recall the list. I might have missed one or two. So where is it? JavaScript.info. Yesterday I showed you this. Yesterday I showed you. So let's quickly see in terms of data types. Okay, not the data types. Quickly type conversions. Yes, we discussed undefined false. Yeah, yeah. Empty, zero, null, undefined, nan. Null is the one which I missed. Yeah, undefined and null both are false values only. Okay, now what else? So with this, you see the number of methods we have. You see any methods are there here? Yeah. So we got hardly two string method and a value of method. So we don't have many methods in terms of Boolean because so Boolean what else you can do? So if it is a string you can do concatenation. If it is a number you can do some power exponential log root. So there are so many things possible, correct? Just to say yes or no, what else you will do? So we don't have too many methods on the Boolean primitive. Understood? Okay, so let's move on. So move on to the reference type which is called array. Why I'm saying reference type? We understood so far primitives. We also know there is a reference type which is called object. Now arrays are also part of reference type. How do we create array in JavaScript? Or what is the purpose of arrays in general? We understood objects. So what is the purpose of objects? Or what is that so much difference with respect to object and primitive?
Multiple values we can store, sir.
Multiple values
Different
we can store.
data type also.
Different data types, multiple values you can store. Same goes with array also. Using arrays also it is possible to store a collection of values under one single name. Just like object, yes, it can hold multiple values. But then instead of having a key, you will have a collection of you know uh, different values.
Sir, it will store only one type of.
No, it can hold multiple values. I'll come to that. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
it can hold multiple values of different data types also possible. All right. So there are two syntaxes. One is called literal syntax, just like how we have in objects. So we say this clever bracket is a literal syntax of object, but in arrays, this is called literal syntax. We don't use constructor. We directly create an array, and that's why it is called literal syntax. Yes, it is possible to create using literal syntax also. How? I mean, sorry, the constructor. How? New array. You have to use this keyword called new. and then you have to create an array. Yeah, so this is an array. So these two are the only syntax we have. Unlike object, we have got so many syntax, but in array, this is the only syntax to create array. Alright. So what is the type of an array? What is the type of an array? What I'll get if I put, what did I get? It says an object. Yeah, array is also type of an object only. Okay, we'll discuss like, okay, what, why type, and how do I actually check what is the type. Now one other important thing we need to understand with respect to arrays, yeah, arrays are indexed collection, also called as ordered collection. Indexed collection meaning basically we can access these elements via the index. Yes, just like in most of the language, here the array index starts from 0. Now see, the array is empty. How do I access elements from this array? Array of 0, array of 1. Elements are not there in this array. This is an empty array. But still there is no issue in JavaScript to access an empty array. Okay, you want an array of 100? No complaint. It will not even tell you that, okay, no, it array out of bounds. It just says undefined. No worries. Yeah. So if elements are there, yes, I can again populate some elements. Yeah. And I can check, I can access the each and every element via the index. It's also possible to modify that element via that index only. Now check what is there in the array, that updated value. So it is possible to access, which is read. It's possible so also to modify. Can I delete using that index? Yes, the answer is yes, it's possible to delete also. Let's see what happens if I delete. Let's create what is called as an empty value. Yeah, these are the basic operations, right? Yeah. So now in terms of array values, yeah, as you asked, see, array can hold different types of values. There is no restriction that it has to hold only certain type values. That it should only hold numbers, it should only hold boolean, false. Yeah, boolean values like true and false. No, no restriction on this. You check what all this array has. It has number, it has boolean value. I am able to store undefined also. I also stored an object also. If I go go one step, I mean extend another step, I can also store an array also in this. I can also store a function also. So a single array can hold all the different types of values. No restriction. It basically in JavaScript it allows you to store mixed type values. But what is a common use in terms of when it comes to programming? We always heavily use array of objects actually. This is very common in JavaScript. We try to use arrays to hold multiple objects. See, in real world we will not have 1 2 3. In real world, when we are writing program, when we are having use case for implementing something, so we don't deal with array of simple values, which is rare. What does this 1 2 3 4 represents? I don't know, or it doesn't make sense, correct? So dealing with simple primitive values, especially in array, is rare. You have to rule out. No, that is not what you should know. Instead, in the entire arrays, or when you are working with all these array methods, you should know this type of an array where it has A collection of objects. Each element should be an object. That is most commonly used, and that is what you should learn at the end of this. Don't tell me, yeah, I know array and it very easy, I can push pop. No, in practice, when we are applying into real world, this is what you should know. So mostly you should learn to deal with array of objects. And while you are practicing, so you say array, only when you can actually deal with array of objects. Yeah, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's move on. Arrays are reference types. I think I told you with an example. If arrays are reference type, then how do I distinguish a given variable is an array or not? I'm giving you some variable called xyz. How do you say whether it is an object or array? I can put an array also, I can put object also. Now tell me, how do you say this is actually an array? I want to check sometimes it's an array or not. Why? If it is an array, I can use all these methods. Yeah, I'll be able to use the methods if it is an array. If it is an object, can you think I can do a push pop? What happens, if I'm trying to do a push on this? Tell me what happens now. I get an error, exception. So for those use cases, I have to literally check, okay, whatever, assume like my function is receiving one variable, and I have to check, okay, what it is. So type of array is giving me object. Now one of the way to solve this is you can use one built-in method called isArray. This is a static method. You can directly call on this constructor function called array. Yeah, these functions, okay. So whatever starts uppercase, okay, these are all called as constructor functions. Yeah, these are functions only. This is also a function. So we have not discussed about classes in JavaScript. It's a function, but it's a called constructor function. So isArray, I'm going to check. If so, then what do you get? It's true. So this is one of the way to check, okay, given variable is an array or not. And just now I told you why you have to check. Yeah. So basic things. Yes, array also has a property called length. Length will be count of how many elements in the array. And the last index will be length minus 1. What is it? Last index will be length minus 1. Now when it comes to methods, JavaScript has got so many methods, specifically array methods. Yeah, so many array methods in this. Now, so what are those methods actually? So for a basic operation like push pop, so we got these methods. Which one? Push pop. You all know what these two will do. Shift. This method basically remove the element from the beginning, just like Q. Yeah. So if I have an element and it is going to remove from the beginning. Unshift. Using unshift, I can actually add an element from the beginning. So shift and unshift works, yeah, from the beginning like a queue. Yeah. So you see unshift. If I do as then what it is giving? It is giving me 1. So what is this 1? Yeah. So I do a push. And then what is the return value? You all will tell me array, it will insert an element into the array. That I totally understand. But then we tell me what is the return value of this push. I do a pop. Tell me what is the return value of this pop. This is what you should learn. Not that, okay, what push does. Yeah, you will be knowing. But then you cannot tell me now the answer. What is the return value of push? Tell me what is the return value of push. If I ask you, all of you know push, what is push is. But when it comes to method, again I am repeating, you should know the full signature, return value, parameters. Yeah. So can push, I pass 10 values like this. Can I pass 10 like this? Is it going to work? It's going to work. How? How do you know? Because we just now saw the signature. The console itself is telling, yeah, you can put a lot of items. Which means in one push, you can insert many values. Then what is the return value of push? Length of the array. After adding these many elements, what will be the final length of the array? This is very important. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, these kind of things you have to learn. Don't tell me that, okay, I know array push pop. And then when they ask you simple question like, okay, what is the return value? You know, you will start thinking. All right. So we got array join method. Let's say I have an array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what does array dot join do? Anybody knows? How does join work?
Sir, it will join any two different arrays or two different objects.
That's how, I mean, based on the join, you can almost guess it, correct? This is what it is. But then,
Yes, sir.
but that is not the case.
Sir, it will showing without array.
Not like without array, it basically joins all the element with a given delimiter. Okay, with a given delimiter, it will join all the elements, yeah, into a string. Let's say I put join and so and so. You see what I got? 1, 2, 4, 5. Let's say I put delimiter. What did I get? 1, 2, 4, 5. Now, assume I have got a join string like this. Yesterday we have learnt there's a method called split. On string, the split method will work. And there, if I give, this, I got this array back. Do you see this? I'm able to concatenate the methods. Array join will make a string. On that, I am able to invoke split. And this is called method chaining. But basically, join will help me to, join all the elements in an array by using what? Separator. If I don't give any separator, then what? So then it will just basically concatenate all of them. Oh, sorry, it takes comma. Yeah, simple join without separator, it is going to take comma as a delimiter, and it makes a string. If you join, give whatever character, then it is going to join like that. Okay, so this is array join method. You got index of. So this method index of basically checks what is the index of a given element. Assume I have an array like this. Now I would like to check what is the index of 4. Yeah, what is the index of 4? 0, 1, 2. So I am passing the element, yeah, for which I want the index. Yesterday we have learned a similar method with respect to string. And if you remember in string, can you tell me what is the syntax of index of in string? Who remember? Index of method in string. Who is going to tell me the syntax?
Carrots.
I'm asking you index of methods parameters. Signature I'm asking. Signature was okay. So for index of what I should pass? Don't know. string index of, I have to pass a character string, correct? So
Yes,
in a
yes,
given string, I want to search a particular string. So I can pass a substring. So big string is there. In that I want to like to search where is JS. It will give me that index. I want to search where is C. Then it will give me that index of that C character. Yeah, basically we can say we can pass a string or a search string. That's how the syntax. And then if you remember, this parameter was given as position. Whether you want to skip the first one, you want to start searching from 10th position onwards, 10th index onwards. Similar syntax here. Here to search an element, and from index is, let's say you don't want to search from the first index, or you want to ignore early index. You have a specific range in which you want to search this value. Yeah. So this is how the index of method works. If it cannot find a value, then it will return -1, which means the element is not there in that array. Example, even if I say 9, it will give me -1 because it does not exist. All right, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So moving on, see, there are a lot of methods which exist actually. I am not going to talk each of them, and I've clearly told you what you should be knowing and how you should be studying. I only listed few of the methods. Arrays method is a very big list. Yeah, and they are all very important methods because we deal with a lot of arrays actually. You get a list of students, list of users. Yeah, anywhere you see a list of products, it's all coming as an array of objects actually. Okay, maybe I'll show you an example also. Okay, so when it comes to methods, we saw what is isArray. We also got a method called at, similar to string at. We have got a method. We got a method for concat. We got a method of, yeah. Um, I think what exactly this? I think I've forgotten. I think this is to use to create an array. Yeah. Okay. So creating an array from a list of values, comma separated list. So just now we saw a comma separated list, right? Array.join. Simply when I don't give any delimiter, it was giving me what? The uh, the list of values. So now same. So yes, you can say array dot join. This will give me a comma separated list. And you want to create an array from this, then this array of is going to work. Oh, wait a second. Here, these are all, you know, string separated values. Oh, okay, join was giving us one simple string. Huh? Okay, it was not giving us separated values. Yeah, basically this what I'm saying is, so let's say you have a comma separated values. It is going to give me an array from that. So likewise, as you can see, there are a lot of methods which actually exist. I mean, I can go on telling you. It will just, okay, yeah, I have studied, I have understood. Only that much will be there in your mind. But if you take some of these common methods, for example, entries, concatenate. So I mean, I'll say you will have to study. That's the only way you can remember. Yeah, you have to practice. Take the examples. For each and every method, they have given, ton of examples. See, they've given a method here. They've giving you how to, use this method or what is the purpose of this method. For every method, you take there is an array for each. Here are their examples. Again, there are examples. These are all examples to just explain what is for each method. Alright, so let me come back to my list. So now I'll tell you few of the methods which are bit important. Also, you might take some time to understand. So the one is sort method, array.sort method. What is the method? Array.sort. So let me show you why I am explaining array.sort also. So let me show you with an example 10, 2, okay, 5, 8. Oh, sorry, I gave you mostly all sorted elements. This is an array, correct? So this array.sort method is there. What happens? See, they're saying it takes an optional comparator function also, or a comparison function. So right now I am not passing it because they're saying optional. So let's see what is the output. Is it sorted? Is it sorted array?
No, sir.
But it is sorted. According to JavaScript, I use the JavaScript method. It is sorted. Then, yeah. So then the thing is actually this is sorted, but the way the sorting works in like a like a dictionary order. If you remember, we did a string comparison. That time I told you, okay, it is dictionary order comparison, comparing two strings. Yeah. Now same way here, okay, this goes by dictionary order. This sorts like a string actually. So when I use a numeric values, this will not work out actually. I mean, this will fail. So to explain this only, I specifically took and explaining what is array.sort method. Now how do I fix this? Yes, it is possible to fix by writing a comparator function. That comparator function works. Also, I'll write just the syntax of how to write this comparator function. Yeah, yes, no need to return even, or simply I can say a minus b. So is it sorted? Yes. Let's say if I say b minus a, again sorted. Now what is this comparator function? If I tell you, what will you do? You'll say yes, sir. But what if you sit and study? Tomorrow you'll be in a position to explain to me. So I'm not going to explain what is this comparator function for you now. You all have to read. I'll ask you in the next class. So you tell me what is this comparator function and how does it work. Okay. So but I've highlighted what is the behavior with respect to sort and why it doesn't work with specifically numbers. Now as the important methods, we have got iterator methods. Iterator. So the name itself says you are looping through each and every element in the array. And these methods have a bit of different syntax. For example, array dot for each, correct? So let me show you the syntax of what is for each. Yeah, I'm actually in the for each method. Let's see the syntax. What is the syntax? For the for each, it is going to take what? It's going to take a callback function. Yeah. So this is going to take a callback function. If so, then What is the syntax? What is this callback function is going to do? They have given explained here. Callback function. Okay. So means what? So this function. So what we know earlier that we have learned what is callback function. Correct? So what is a callback function? So this function will be called by for each. That's what is the meaning of callback, correct? Yeah. If that function is taking a function as an input, which is a built-in function, it's not that I am simply passing it because, yeah, I want to do some magic here. No. For each is expecting a callback function. Is it an optional argument? Answer is no. It's a mandatory argument. Yeah. The array for each is expecting callback. It means this function, it knows when to call, isn't it? It is going to call for sure. Now, what I was just seeing, this callback function will be called by what? My question is, this callback function is called by what? Just now I told you.
For each.
For each, correct? So for each is going to invoke call this function. So tell me what are the parameters this for each will pass when it is invoking it. For each is going to call, correct? So when I'm invoking this function via the for each, can you tell me what all parameters it will give it to the callback function? See how it is going to call? Simple syntax. We know array, we know function we can call it like with parenthesis. Now my question is, will it just like this call or will it pass any parameters?
Parameters.
Parameters. So what are those parameters? So it is going to pass three parameters when this function is being invoked. The first parameter is, you know, so since you are invoking this on an array, okay, this you are invoking it on an array element, okay, so it is going to give a element which it is processing. Basically, for now you take it like this is an element. Okay, so this is an element. Now what is the second argument? The index of this element. So what is the final argument or the third argument?
Array.
The whole array itself. Yeah. So I might have still not understood what I am saying you. So let me write a syntax now. So let's say if I invoke this method for each on an array, then this will accept a callback function, something like this. So this function will be called, yeah, this function will be called with element, index, and the whole array. This is what I was just trying to explain. So this part of it is what is actually a callback syntax. This one, yeah, this part is a callback syntax. For the same callback function only, now we have got three elements which it is being called with. It is going to invoke. Which one? The for each is going to provide all these three. To whom? To the callback function. And that's the same syntax I am writing here. Okay, the same syntax of all these things I have written here: element, index, array. So what is an element and index and array? So this for each basically, it is not going to call this callback function once. I'm saying it is not going to call once, rather it is going to call once for every element in the array. So let's say I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 elements. Then this callback function will be called how many times? 3 times. If it has 5, then this function it is going to call 5 times. Will it simply call? No. It is going for every call it is going to provide this information. Are you sure? Let's see. Let's see how it is going to call. So let's take a simple array 1, 2, 3, or maybe 2, 3, 5 dot for each. What I'm going to do, I'm going to write a function. What kind of function I can write? You can write any type of function, arrow function, normal function, any syntax you write. What did I tell you? It is going to accept first argument as an element. Let's see, I'm going to get an element by simply writing console.log element. I have told you even I can access index also. Let's write index also. Yeah, let's write index. Now if these two, so in every element, I should get element comma index. So what is the output? 2 comma 0, 3 comma 1, 5 comma 2. That's what I should get it, correct? Yeah. And also I'm going to write another function console.log. Okay, called callback function or called CB. In short, we write CB. Let's see. See the output now. So the for each has called this callback function, and for that invocation it has passed 2 comma 0. So we are receiving it with EL and index. You can write whatever name you want. They are just positional argument functions. You can receive any arguments and you can name whatever you want. 2 0. Second time 3 1. Third time 5 2. Is it clear what I'm saying? Now I told you it will even pass one more argument. Since I didn't want, I didn't use it actually. I didn't receive it. So now let's say I want to show that also. Then let's log that also. So you got 2 0 and the whole array. 3 1 and the whole array. 5 2 the whole array. Is it clear now what I'm saying, the way the for each works and what it does with this callback and what all the values this callback is going to get. And this is a very important syntax, and this is the same syntax all these iterator methods will follow, including some of these things also. Some, every, these two also actually partly they come under this iterator methods. So all of these methods, for each, filter, find, map, reduce, every, sum, they all follow the exact syntax like this only. You write filter, that is also going to accept one callback function as input. And what is the argument it is going to pass to the callback function? Similar arguments, element, index, array. But then what are they? How they are different? If you remember, I've been telling from last 2 days, every method when you are learning, it is very important not to understand the full signature. I told you what is it is going to accept. Did I tell you what is the return value of for each? The return value of for each is none, which means it does not return any value. Then what is the purpose of for each? Simply I want to do something for each and every element in the array. In that case, I am going to use array.forEach. So rather than using a for loop syntax, so we directly use for each syntax, and this is common. Avoid using for loop. Instead, you use this built-in method like for each. And it's an iterative method. They've given all this explanation. Now this explanation I've told you in 5 minutes, maybe even less than that. If you read once, you will understand what I've told you. So I expect you also to read and understand what they've given. Now what I was about to tell, so I was about to tell, okay, let's say filter method is there. I told you syntax of that is also almost same as for each. See, filter, callback function. There's a callback function and this argument. Now where does it differ then? Callback function again will give three elements: element, index, array. I'm saying three parameters, huh? Not three elements. Three parameter it is going to pass every time this callback function is called, and this callback function is called for every element once. That's why these functions are called iterative methods. They are going to iterate that function for every element which is present in the array. Alright. Now then what is the return value of filter? Tell me what is the return value of filter? I know some of you know this.
Array.
Not simply array. You should be very exact in telling the answer.
Subarray.
Array, subarray, they're not giving me full meaning, Rajesh. So based on the logic, whatever elements are filtered, yeah, whatever elements are filtered, so the return value will have, all those elements. Filtered out array, yeah. So we basically write some condition within the filter callback function. So whatever elements which are going to satisfy that condition, they're all returned out. I'll show you quickly example of what is filter. Yeah, you've seen what is for each and how it looks like. So mostly the purpose of for each is to do some processing, listing. Yeah. So let's say I have for each, and then how am I going to use it? Let's say for each element, you know, I want to do perform something. For example, I would like to do, square of this number. I simply want to do square of every element. I can call square of this element. Now this will be called for every element once. So likewise, let's say I would like to do filter. So let's say I want to filter out odd numbers or even numbers. So I'll say filter. I told you we can pass a function, but that is not just a function, it's a predicate function. The predicate function means it should, at the end of that function, it should return either true or false. That's what is the meaning of predicate function. How do I know? Yes, they've given here. Yeah, so it is going to accept a predicate function. Though it's a callback, but it's a predicate function. It should tell, okay, whether it should return, I mean, it should either, at the end, it should return either true or false value. So let me write a predicate function. I use an arrow function in this case. Okay, I use an arrow function. You can use any type of function, no restriction on it. So here I'm going to return item mod 2 is equal to 0. So you all know when item mod 2 is equal to will become 0. When it will become 0? Element is an even number. Divisible by 2 is nothing but even number. So for some element it will return true. For some element like 3 it will not return true. Correct? So now whichever element is as written true, you're seeing those elements are in the output. In the filtered out array, it is returning you an array, a new array, completely new array, whereas it has filtered out these elements. Why? Because for these elements, whenever I'm processing, this function returned true. The condition inside this function, basically this is a return value only. Yeah. If you're confused with this function syntax, I can even write a normal function syntax. Okay, in that case, I have to write a return statement, and I have to say return. So what I'm returning, I'm saying return and item mod to 0. When item mod 2 will become true, provided if this is an even number. Now you want to see whether what is the value, what is happening for each of those case. Console.log. You want item. Okay. You also want to print what is the return value here coming. Yeah. So in a detailed function like this, you can even check what is the value it is returning, true or false. See what happened? In case of 2, it has become true. In case of 3, it has returned false. In case of 4, it has become true. And these functions, for each, filter, find, map, you know, at least in this list, these are very commonly used array functions. I told you arrays are first of all common. I told you we work with mostly array of objects. Now I am telling you these functions are very common, and even from an intro point of view, they will ask about these functions and their difference. Many people will not be able to even explain, you know, to say what is this callback function, what are the different arguments it is going to take. Okay, so if I tell you all these methods, I think you will be getting, overloaded. So let me tell you one last method for now, and maybe we can discuss some more methods in the next class. So a very simple method again. Okay, so I'm going to write a method called sum. What is its input? A predicate. Just now I told you what is a predicate. I said it should return either true or false. How? Let me produce something. So I would like to return if element is greater than 10. Yeah, you see what is the output I'm getting? False. Okay, let's say I'm going to write, element greater than 5 or element greater than 4. I'm getting true. Can you tell me how this function is working? How this function working? This function is
Sir, if any element in the array is greater than 4 means it will print true.
exactly. The name itself says sum, meaning, okay, it is going to return true if some of the elements satisfy this condition. Getting what I'm saying? If some of the element, meaning it can be one or more element, if they satisfy this condition, whatever I've written, then it will be true. Otherwise, it is false. See, now in this case, 5 will satisfy this condition. That's why it is true. So it is going to return a Boolean value. That's why I wrote under Boolean. Clear what I'm saying? Now I'll change this. Now let's move on to another easy method to understand, just opposite of it. Why this method is giving false?
Because 2 is smaller than 4, sir.
Which means what?
Some of the elements are lesser than 2 also is there, sir. Not every element is like greater than 4.
Exactly. So it is checking every element should pass this condition. Getting it? Every element should pass this condition, then this will become true. See, I wrote a condition. So some, at least, few of the elements pass this condition. Meaning few of the elements should return true. Here, all the elements should return true. Yeah. So the given expression what I have written here should be passed by all. Then only this will return true. As simple as I want to check whether your pass or fail. How do I check? Your I have written all your marks actually. 25, 35, 35. Are you pass if in any of the subject you have less than 35? False, correct?
Yes, sir.
So like this. So likewise we have got these methods. and very very important to understand these methods and also use them and practice them. Yeah. Now as you saw, syntax of for each I told you, filter also I told you. I'm telling you syntax wise all these methods are almost same. Even sum and every also is following the same syntax. The first thing will be element only. If you want index, they will also give you index. You can take index, you can receive index also. That callback is how anyhow going to give you. It's up to you whether you want it or you want to use it or not. Okay, I think I'll stop here for today. Yeah, as I told you, there are a few more methods. Static methods are also there. I think I've discussed what are static methods, except this from method. So I'll cover few of these methods because they are important. And also I'll tell you array of objects. Yeah, this I have told you with array of primitive values only. And mostly I've used numbers. What if you got objects actually? I'll take some examples of, you know, so some APIs I'll show you. So how we'll work with the array of objects. So, tomorrow I'm going to take some of these examples. Let's say I want 10 users. So I'm going to get a data like this, 10 users data. So in practice, I should be able to use this. Yeah, you see there are 10 users within an array and this is an object. Now they'll ask me a question, okay, give me all the usernames in this 10 objects. Give me ID of all these users. Give me the city of all these users. Okay, this is what is nothing but array of objects. Yeah, so we will understand a few more methods with respect to that, specifically iterative methods, and then we'll also understand how to work with array of objects. You see there are 10 elements in this array. So likewise I can access users of 0 and you want to name, you can access name. You want with the dot notation, yes, you can access dot notation. Okay, so any questions with what I have discussed? Anything is not clear or any general question in whatever we have discussed?
No, sir.
Okay, complete silence. Maybe
No, sir.
no. All right, then I think I'll stop here for today. Yeah, you'll have to go back, do all the questions which I've given yesterday. Yeah, and tomorrow also I'll be giving you some more questions and you'll have to practice. Yeah, so as I told you, don't tell me that okay, I don't know this. Yeah, you have to explain, you're not explained. No, that period is over.